morning, East Castle Place. How's everybody doing? Welcome to this edition of Coffee with Tyler. Took a couple weeks off, and I'll let you know why, if you hadn't guessed or heard. Hope everybody has their cup of coffee or favorite beverage of choice, and join me in the first sip. Alright, so before we jump into the agenda for the day, of course, there wasn't a Coffee with Tyler for the last couple of weeks, and that was due to welcoming my very first child, my son, Hunter Grady Gudex, and mom and son are doing well, and had to take some time away from the office to get acclimated to fatherhood, as well as welcome Hunter home. And so Mom and Hunter are both doing very well. Hunter was born on October 2nd at 5:11 p.m. And my wife did an incredible job as a whole different experience. Yeah, it's life-changing nonetheless. Incredible. There's a ton of words. He was born at 7 pounds 1 ounce, so a healthy baby boy. And he's eating and doing everything babies should be doing, keeping us up at night a little bit too. So of course that's fantastic. Well, I'm here right now because, obviously I need to get back at the office, but at the same time, my mother-in-law is there to support my wife Stephanie and my son Hunter, and so allows me to get back into the action of East Castle Place. Obviously still playing some catch-up. But appreciate all the kind words, the support, and well wishes. I believe there was something on Touchdown showing pictures, and of course I may have a few pictures as well. So if you see me in the hallway, as many of you have, I'm always happy to share the pictures with Hunter that I have of him. It's incredible. It's awesome. Very, very blessed. Again, Stephanie's doing fantastic. She's such a strong individual and lady, and I'm blessed to have her as my partner in crime and partner in life. And just look forward to the next however many years, the 18 years. That's kind of the next goal, right? Look forward to the life-changing event, and it's awesome. So came a little earlier than expected. He was born actually on the 20th, so next Tuesday was his due date, but decided to join the world a little early. So we're excited about that. Again, our pup Bella at home is acclimating well to having a little brother at home. She's still getting attention and getting the love as well, but it's pretty great. So if you see me walking around with maybe some toothpicks in my eyes, I appreciate your understanding as I acclimate to maybe not getting the full night's rest that I had previous, but again, wouldn't change that for the world. So, thank you all, and appreciate the kind words and encouragement and words of tips and tricks of the trade. So, alright, so let's jump into our agenda, and that's COVID-19, of course, is the update. So thank you to Lindsay V. Goot, who in my absence provided the memos to you all as regularly scheduled. You will be receiving another memo tomorrow updating you on our current COVID status. We've been very fortunate in the last couple of weeks, even with the number of tests that we continue to do, which is close to 100 each week of all of our employees and residents. We've been very, very good. We still have 0 resident cases of COVID-19 across the community, so both in independent living, assisted living, memory support, and skilled nursing. And we did just have 1 employee test positive on our rapid test, so we are able to get results quickly. This employee was asymptomatic and really had minimal contact with the community at large. And so the risk to the community at large is mitigated. Of course, there's always a concern. There's always risk. Anytime we step outside East Castle Place, there is that risk, especially if our staff or you are not wearing your proper protection, which again is this mask. Everybody needs to continue wearing these. and taking the proper protection and protocols in place. Also, wash your hands regularly. And of course, if you do experience any symptoms related to COVID or otherwise, flu season's coming up here shortly as well. Please, please, please let us know. We want to keep you safe. Stay isolated in your apartment until you hear from us. We will guide you through that process and support you and make sure that we're all successful in this together. We have to stay together in this. We have to continue to fight and mitigate COVID-19 as this isn't going away at this time. Hopefully, there's maybe some light at the end of the tunnel, but I would be remiss to say that there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel, and we have a definitive stop date of COVID-19. I think anybody that would tell you that would be remiss, and I don't think anybody knows quite what that looks like. So we're going to continue to fight the good fight. Appreciate everybody's support in that, in wearing your masks and encouraging each other, and properly socially distancing, etc., as well as we start to regulate and find normalcy a little bit in our life. So with that, again, if you saw by the front desk, there's that new hand washing sink that was installed actually because of COVID, and actually just best practice. We want our staff to utilize that upon entering the community. We want you to use that sink upon entering the community. That was an investment that we made in the safety and security of the community. It also turned out great, so it's not like an eyesore by any means, I feel. So again, I hope everybody can appreciate that. And again, it's just wash your hands. That again is the best way to mitigate COVID. Simple trick, sing happy birthday in your head or out loud. Hey, if you want to sing it out loud, feel free. Also, the weather, fall is definitely upon us. The weather's changing. And so we, per the guidance of Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, need to allow for visits for our skilled nursing residents, as well as our memory support, assisted living, and your visits. So we've been doing those in the courtyard, in the exterior courtyards. Obviously, the weather is getting chilly. I think I saw the first frost this morning. We got down to 40 degrees or so, or actually probably less than that, or it's about to happen. And so what do? Obviously, exterior courtyard visits are still encouraged, and social distancing outside, getting your walks in. Still want all that to happen as you're able. But at the same time, what can we do to facilitate those? So, excuse me, tickle in my throat. COVID visits. So you'll see in the memo that will hit your doors probably by the time you're watching this, if not soon after, how we're going to coordinate those indoor visits. And so Teresa Jenkins, Ashley Drummond, Lindsay V. Good, Roxanne Farr, our medical director, we've all kind of sat down and figured out what is the best way to make these visits happen. And so a couple of things. So you'll get guidance on this in pen and paper, or in black and white. I have it right here. And so I just want to walk through these. And so, again, there is no perfect system for this. I know that some of you are going to say, Tyler, this has been way too long in the coming. I still, this should have been done many weeks ago, and we've been responsible. We can do this on our own. And then some may say, Tyler, COVID is present more than ever. Obviously, the statistics out there are not encouraging by any means. But at the same time, the federal government has given us and dictated to us that these have to happen. And so we need to, from a regulatory standpoint, make sure that we make these available and as safe an environment as possible. So, for you in independent living that are watching this, we, beginning next week, are going to allow you to have visitors in your apartment. All right? So, we do not want more than 3 individuals in your apartment at one time. All right? And so, again, we still expect in your apartments that you wear your face masks and that you properly socially distance. Obviously, this is completely on you to provide that safe environment and to uphold that, because obviously myself, Teresa, can't go to every apartment as the old residency counselors in the dorms did, and knock on our doors and make sure that everybody's safe and doing what they're supposed to. So I'm really asking you as residents to take it upon yourselves to be safe. Obviously, if you have a loved one that is experiencing symptoms, or you had a visitor that is still had COVID and they're still in their isolation period, they cannot come on campus. They cannot. That's how the risk is going to spread. But at the same time, if you and your loved ones are taking the proper steps, obviously we'll be temping them. They'll be having to answer the questions upon entry into the community. They can visit in your apartments. There is no common area visiting process or protocols for those visitors outside of your apartment. So they have to come to your apartment. You should meet them at the front desk and take them up to your apartment. Again, this is our best case scenario and the best stance that we have, that we can have visitors in your apartments. Now I'm asking that you limit those visits as well to no more than an hour at one time. Again, we know that the increased time spent increases the risk. So again, I'm asking you to limit that. And we also want those visits no more than 3 times per week in your apartment. So again, we know you have loved ones. We know you have loved ones that haven't visited in some time, haven't seen you, and are going to want to. Well, that's what this is for. But again, we're limiting it, and because, again, 3 times a week, it just allows for us to make sure we're tracking properly, able to manage this to the best of our ability. We also do want those in normal business hours, so Monday through Friday. But again, this is going to be up to you. And so again, if you have visitors on Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to ask that you maintain this very much socially distanced and again, in the best aspect for the community at large. The same will go for our assisted living residents in their apartments, because their apartments are larger. So again, that's still going to be scheduled, and so we still are going to expect you to sign up for our assisted living residents to sign up for those visits. Now to CBRF as well as the health center. So those areas, obviously, we want to maintain to the best of our ability a clean environment. We want to mitigate, and those rooms are smaller, so the visits need to happen off the floors. So what does that look like? We will be taking the fireplace room, so the room right off the front desk area. Eric and the team will be putting up a partitioned wall so that it blocks the hallway, and we will be allowing for 2 residents at max to visit up to 2 or 3 individuals at one time for 1 hour tops. There will be a table, there will be a plexiglass barrier, much like what you see at the front desk for those visits, and they will be supervised. So again, our most vulnerable population on our 4th, 5th, and 3rd floors will sign up for visits. Their loved ones will come. They will take that time. They will be supervised, not in the sense of what are you talking about, but to make sure masks are being worn, the areas are being sanitized, and that there's little to no hugging, which is tough to say. But that will happen in the fireplace room. You may say, Tyler, why the fireplace room? That's our area. That's an area of the community that we enjoy utilizing. I found this area because, again, space is limited. The Bradford Terrace Lounge is heavily utilized by residents at large. The club room and Lindsay Hall are as well as the Creativity Center. And it mitigates the traffic to the community at large. And so we will be taking out some of that furniture and pushing it to the side of the fireplace room. That room will be off limits to you as independent living residents and dedicated to our 3rd, 4th, and 5th residents. So I know that's a lot to hear, that's a lot to say. Tyler, you're really making some decisions here. And again, that's my role as the executive director, to make decisions based on the information I have and for the community. And if there's questions or concerns about that, by all means, please let me know. I'm here, and those visits are going to start on Tuesday next week. And so, again, A memo will be going out dictating all of this and not dictating, but discussing and sharing this all with you. And again, I appreciate your understanding in this. Going back to independent living, there's some concerns and just, what does it look like as well for country kitchen, for instance. We don't want more than 2 or 3 individuals in there. Again, in your apartments, no more than 3 to 4 residents. If you do want to play bridge and things of that nature, again, I know that's very important. And again, socialization and health and well-being isn't just the physical aspect. It is the emotional and social. You can do that in your apartments, but again, no more than 3 or 4 individuals in your apartments at one time, and I am going to ask you to limit those games to no more than an hour. That's a lot of information. That's a lot of information that some may not agree with. Some information may be a great resource and rejuvenate you, which is great. And so again, we're doing it for the campus at large. Wisconsin's weather is turning. We can't be visiting outside in -degree weather. Again, COVID I don't see going away anytime soon. Although I mentioned earlier that there may be a light at the end of the tunnel, that light is still very, very far off. And so Wisconsin's weather is going to come, and it's here. So we need to figure this out. And so we need to take the steps to make it as safe as possible, as structured as possible for you as residents. All right. So, also just a caveat, flu shots. If you haven't gotten your flu shot, please do. We do not have a flu shot clinic at this time. That was done 3 weeks ago or so when Walgreens came in. You still should be able to get it by your provider. They're highly, highly encouraging that. I want to reassure you that all staff have gotten their flu shots. It is mandatory for all staff, and those have been completed. COVID testing for staff will continue. We do not have the capacity to COVID test you as independent living residents. So speak with your physician if you're concerned or have any of those questions. Obviously, Teresa Jenkins and myself are also available for you. All right, so again, all that will be coming out via a memo. We have policies and procedures in place. They have been thought out and vetted, and we'll go from there. What else is going on at East Castle Place? Window washing's happening, so that should be wrapped up next week. Sorry about the minor delay. Had some weather and just due to some COVID things, had some minor setbacks. But again, window washing is happening. If you do not want that, let Eric or Marie know, and they will bypass your apartment. Otherwise, your windows will be washed. The contractors are being tested every single day that they come into the community, so that we can ensure your safety and security as well. The resident council, very excited for this. Want to quickly take a moment to thank the former resident council for all their input and guidance and suggestions to myself, as well as on behalf of you as residents at large. But those council members, Libby Sellers, the president of the council, her term is up. And so Libby, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you to all the wonderful council members that have done so much for our community. But there's a pretty large turnover, and so we're going to welcome 7 new council members to the council. We do have some holdovers, meaning that their terms aren't up yet from the previous council. And so that council is installed tomorrow. And so thank you especially to Maureen Scribner, who coordinated the election and that process of resident council. But I want to give you as residents, it should be posted as well, I'll verify that with Maureen, of who the new members are. So the new members are Augie Mortarello, Barbara Hill, Sandra Meyer, Gil Church, Don Herrick, Kurt Fowler, and Kathy Johnson. It's a great group. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. I look forward to working with the council on behalf of East Castle Place to understand and get to know what else you guys are all wanting, to what the residents of East Castle Place want. A couple of things, I'm just going to take a moment. I haven't done this in a while. So I'm going to pan over and ooh, we have some brand new chairs. All right, so this chair that I'm sitting in here, Nice chair. It's got some room, nice back support. This chair, don't mind my socks. You know, always got to keep the socks interesting. These chairs, this is going to be one of the first resident council tasks in residents at large tasks at hand. But these chairs are going to be the new chairs of Lindsay Hall. But I don't want to make that decision on my own. So you as residents are going to determine via a vote of what chairs we're going to get for Lindsay Hall. We want to make sure there's going to be different fabrics. These are all wipeable fabrics. I know that's been brought up. We want to make sure that they're supportive in the back as well as being able to get up. So we will put together, maybe it's an hour event, because again, if it was pre-COVID, I just set the chairs out, let you sit and hope, vote. We want to make sure they're sanitized and things of that nature, so I want to be structured a little bit more. Again, I'm not too concerned because they're washable surfaces, but again, just in overabundance of caution. But I want you to take a seat in these. I want you to let me know which chairs you would like in Lindsay Hall. Once we make the determination, hopefully we get that determination in the next couple of weeks. We'll place an order, and obviously then it probably takes 8 to 10 weeks to actually get all 100 plus chairs that we need. So it's quite the investment, but it's the investment that are needed to replace all those chairs in Lindsay Hall. Obviously we got the new tables in Lindsay Hall, and so the chairs is the next piece to that. We budgeted for that, the board approved that in this year's budget, which we started October 1st, and yeah, so I'm excited for that. The other large task that the resident council has ahead of them, and they'll mention this, I'll have the president, whoever that may be, have a cameo in the State of the Castle, which will air next week, mention our Employee Appreciation Fund. Now this is completely resident driven, of course. This is not anything that staff, Mike Brever, myself, direct you to do. It is not required, it is strictly voluntary. However, the Employee Appreciation Fund is underway, and we've had a number of residents give throughout the year, but I think the council will be asking for some donations for that Employee Appreciation Fund. Again, this is an appreciation since our staff are not allowed to receive tips. It's your opportunity to say thank you. Last year was a historic year for East Castle Place. We raised over $65,000 for the staff members. Staff were incredibly appreciative. For full-time staff, it essentially equated to an additional week of pay. I know things. You're always being asked for different things. Again, this is up to you as residents at the resident council as to how much money is raised. Again, it's strictly for you voluntarily to show appreciation for the staff. Again, we like to give those out the first week of December. So again, there will be a box if there's not already a box up there. But again, that's for you as residents to determine whatever amount you may want to give or not give for all the wonderful things the staff have done. More than ever, to be honest. We've done our part from an East Castle Place standpoint to support the staff via a ton of different engagement events, giving t-shirts and food and some monetary amount, things of that nature. But again, the staff have been doing just an incredible job and come in each and every day with the smiles on their face, wanting to take care of you and take care of you in the best way they know how. And again, I know so many of you appreciate those relationships that you have, whether it's your housekeepers, the servers, the nurses, the CNAs, that all take care of you and your loved ones and the affairs here at East Castle Place. For those of you that are new, that may be watching this, the Employee Appreciation Fund is strictly given to hourly staff members. This is not something for myself or for any of the director team. This is strictly for those hourly staff members that take care of the day-to-day things. And so, again, I look forward to being able to share that with staff, whatever the amount is. Again, whether it be $10 or $50 or $400+ that was given last year to each staff member. And again, it's based on full-time, part-time, and pool. We have an algorithm or an equation that we use. But again, that's something that I think I want to discuss with the resident council to see what their feeling is on it. And again, please share your thoughts and if you feel your generosity with the staff members. So I just wanted to put that out there. I was asked by the former resident council just to mention that as well. Libby Sellers is going to be passing the baton, so to speak, as Libby has chaired that, really the notion so well over the last number of years. And so looking forward to again the next resident council and how we go about showing our appreciation for staff. A couple other things. I know Laura Wengler and Lori Meckley are back. I haven't had a chance to welcome them back to you all. Laura's back. I know you've already had Oktoberfest last week. That was a great event from what I hear. And pickle making is happening Saturday. I think that was a question about Christmas at the Castle. More information will come. I think I mentioned it's going to be a little bit different this year, obviously, but we will have some type of Christmas at the Castle. Pickles are definitely a part of the Castle Christmas tradition. That special pickle recipe. So Laura's going to be heading that up. I believe it's on Saturday, so we'll be asking for volunteers there as well. Man, those pickles go fast. We have hospitals that are asking for the pickles. The case managers, it's incredible. So please, if you have the opportunity on Saturday to go make some pickles, take some time and do that East Castle tradition. All right. With that, please continue to look at the elevators and the October calendars for various events. Please do look for that memo that will be forthcoming on Thursday. Besides giving you the update of COVID, also all those guidelines and guidances that we are going to set up for you for next week for those interior visits in your apartments. Again, if there's questions or concerns about that, if you're uncomfortable having those visitors in your apartment, by all means, don't have them. Everybody's taking this at their own pace. One thing that I'm going to require you, regardless of if you're visiting, not visiting in common areas, in your apartments, visiting with each other, these masks have to be worn, all right? Please. So with that, I want to wish everybody a wonderful rest of your week. Just an FYI, I may have some time out of the office sporadically. There's some follow-up appointments that needed with the little guy, obviously the 2-week checkup, the month checkup, just to make sure everything is going well. But again, very fortunate to welcome Hunter to my family. Steph's doing great, and it's fantastic for all the words of encouragement and support I've heard upon getting back into the swing of things, so to speak, here at East Castle Place. So with that, I'm going to sign off with a sip. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Coffee with Tyler. Enjoy the rest of your day. Remain ECP strong, and we'll talk to you next week. All right, take care, everyone.